Right. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Perspective Show with Nick Rodriguez. I've got Jim Lawrence here with us and Missy V. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
This show, Perspective, it's basically we're just going to be talking about some stuff that pastors and ministers and leaders in the community don't always get to talk about. It might not be the place to do it on a Sunday morning, but we have some cultural, political, social topics that we want to hit on and kind of share just our perspectives. Not that we're right or wrong, just kind of like where we're coming from. We've got different ages, different ethnic backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, different work experiences. So let's see what happens. Let's see where we go. Just to start out, this recording, we're doing it on September 11th. And kind of, I woke up this morning, I didn't even realize that it was September 11th again. And I got online and saw everybody posting about, 911, remembering. One of the phrases that is said a lot is, I forget the way they put it, but it's, never forget. And that's used all the time, and I'm just kind of wondering. I'll share kind of what that means to me, but I want you guys to think about what does that trigger with you guys, or the whole situation. What does it kind of make you think about? I think this is like 19 or 20 years from
19.
Is it 19?
Yeah.
So for me, when they say never forget, for me, it means like I think we have a hard time understanding that there's some bad people out there in the world. So from my perspective, never forget is like to have our guard up, kind of like I'm around so many nice people all the time, and everybody's pretty nice to me. I've got family that loves me, and the only reason I know that there's some evil people out there is because I used to hang out with them. I used to be one of those guys. And so it's not hard for me to kind of know that those people, and I've kind of taken myself out of that and away and try to be as safe as possible. But as a country, I think for myself, it's like we actually have enemies out there. And I think sometimes, it's hard to remember that or keep that in mind. So I don't get really sentimental about the whole day. I didn't know anybody that died in the actual day. I get that it's a horrible thing, but I don't really like wake up and I don't have this emotional attachment to the day. I remember the day that it happened. I remember I was working with my dad doing concrete. But I saw the news as we were going to work in the morning, and then I think the second plane hit. Kind of, I actually don't remember exactly how it happened, but I know that day I was kind of keeping up with the news on the phone with my kid's mom. She was kind of telling me from home what was going on. We didn't have the internet on our phones back then. But let's start with Jim. Tell us a little bit about that. What do you remember? What does never forget mean to you? Take it away.
Okay. Well, first of all, where I was when I heard about it, I was at work. I was working for a company called Selzy Enterprises, washing truck bodies or washing trucks, and I remember hearing it on the news because I turned the radio on in the truck and I'd be listening, and I'm out there washing these trucks and I'm hearing all of this stuff that's going on, and I'm kind of in my mind playing, creating these images of what was happening, and of course the whole deal with 9/11 is they say never forget. I put on Facebook this morning, it says always in my memories, and it's not that I don't want to forget, not that I need to be on guard, it's that we never forget those who died in the event and those who died as a result of being first responders. Those are the ones that I want to always keep in my memory, is that's these are the casualties of that horrific event. That's who I want to always remember and never forget. The pain that was experienced by this nation was deep, and it turned real rapidly into anger. And, it was an extremely unifying event because it brought a lot of people together. You saw people, American flag sales went through the roof at that event. But my question was, where was your American flag before the event? I walked into my room, pulled my flag out, and put it up. Because I have a flag. That's you understand my question, but never forget is those who suffered and died as a direct result, and the families of those who died as a result of this. Those are the ones we want to always remember and never forget.
Jim, your audio is a little bit off. I don't know if you want to check it out, and then I'll go to Missy. But I can kind of hear you, but it's some sort of staticky going on there.
Okay.
And I also forgot to kind of tell you guys, you guys can ask each other questions. You can, if you want to hear more of a certain point that someone makes, feel free to talk, just like we're sitting at a table. We don't have to, you don't have to always wait for myself or whatever. But Jim brought up a great point. That's kind of my next kind of question. So we might kind of introduce it here. But I'm seeing before today, I saw a bunch of American flags coming out, and people, especially in Clovis, they're all over the place. And I was just watching them. I kind of wondered, along with 9/11, what is your initial thought, when you see flags and stuff like that? And, so anyways, that's a lot for you, Missy. Go ahead and just do whatever you can remember there. Sorry.
Well, I don't know what the question really was, but I do remember where I was during 9/11. I was in Colorado. I was getting ready to climb Pikes Peak. We had trained 6 months to climb Pikes Peak, and I was feeling really ill that morning, and I didn't actually get to climb. But during my team, while they were up there, they that's when the attack happened. I was very confused at first. I didn't really have access to a TV, or of course we didn't have cell phones. Really, we had cell phones, but they were the Nokia ones. So you really couldn't get really news on that. So by the time I found out what actually happened, which was the day after, it was quite devastating to me. I do have a sensitive heart about 9/11, but I also feel the same way about Pearl Harbor. I never forget about Pearl Harbor.
Really?
It's just one of those things for me, and I always am don't forget about this. What was done to our country, and but I think going back to what Jim said, it was more so about the lives that were lost on our soil, about our American people. I think that's where I felt a little bit sensitive about it. I read a post today that was just a new perspective. They said 19 years ago, the night before, families were getting together for the last time tonight. And I was like, oh my gosh, that, to me, it's so sad. And I can't imagine what or how people recovered from that, or being so far away. I know you had mentioned, we're so far away, it's so hard to kind of relate, and all you have is these feelings, and you don't really know what to feel. And I think that that's normal. Of course, I'm super sensitive. I cry if a mosquito hits my windshield. So
yeah, do you really?
Yeah, I'm so sensitive about that kind of stuff. So, but I really do I felt for America. I don't think that it was, I know Jim had mentioned where was your American flag before that? I think it was just a time when stuff like that happened, where it wasn't that we weren't so patriotic before, but I think it was a time where we just the American flag is what we had to all connect us. And so that's when we started to bring it out. Like, it wasn't that we were ashamed of it or that we weren't any less Americanized before 9/11, but when it happened, that was the one thing that can bring us all together and say, like, oh, I know, I'm feeling your pain, I know what's going on, I understand, or we're here to support. And that was, I think, that was a flag of support and of togetherness. I think before that, it was just said, I think, amongst us, or we just celebrated, 4th of July together. But when that happened and we all brought out that flag, it was just kind of like a little beacon of like, hey, I'm here and I'm letting you know that I'm here to support you. I don't think it was a way of, of anybody, not being more Americanized than before or after 9/11. But it was definitely something that really shook me, especially I was young.
Yeah.
So it was definitely something that I could not believe, because it was my first big national,
Sure.
like, what is it? It's just a big thing that
Catastrophe.
happened, Yeah,
Catastrophe.
tragedy that happened in the U.S. for me. It was the first time I had experienced that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm glad that there's a body of Christ, because I'm not the feeling part of that body. It's like I really, I don't know if I don't know why, but it's just, even back then, I mean, I was probably 21, I think, or so. So it just really didn't kind of like connect. It was really distant, like I had said before. But Jim, talk to us. Missy made a good point of, back then the flag was kind of a unifier. Everyone kind of, has that gone away, or what do you, like I said, I've been seeing flags come out in the last couple of months a lot, and it feels really weird, because I always want to be sensitive to people and stuff like that. But it seems like we're starting to kind of get divided on even the flag. It can be what's the word, offensive to some people, and I don't want to offend people just to offend people, but I feel when I see the flag come out, I'm still very patriotic, but at the same time, like, well, I'll mention this later, but Jim, what do you think about that so far?
Well, the American flag is it's gotten to the point now to where it is a symbol of both beauty and ugly. Depending on your perspective, where you're coming from, this is what this is about, perspectives. And it's turned into today something that could very easily be a dividing device. If you hold up an American flag, some people are going to say, "Oh, that's one of those guys," and they're going to attack, or they're going to come against you. It's like okay, like the burning of the flag. You see people, they burn flags, right? And they won a lawsuit saying that it's constitutional. It's called freedom of speech. They can burn a flag because that's how they feel about what the American flag represents. Well, see, they have that right to do that. But at the same time, you have to know that I have the right to fly that flag. Mm-hmm. And I have the right to sing the national anthem. And oh, say, can you see by the dawn's, I have the right to sing that and say that and fly my flag. But it's gotten now to where it's a dividing device, which people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. And it's kind of like there's none of that in between stuff. And it's, for me, it's really disheartening because, I am 62 years old. I learned flag etiquette when I was a teenager in the Boy Scouts. Okay. And I was a cadet in high school or in junior high. And the flag represents the nation that we live in and the pride that we should have in our nation. And everybody brought it out, as a unifying device to show everybody, hey, we stand in solidarity and unity with each other. And here's my flag to show that. And today we see a lot of other flags being flown across the nation that are absolutely contrary to what the American flag stands for. The United States of America. And that's you just don't see the unity anymore. I mean, if we were to get a bunch of people to walk down the street with a flag in a parade, there's going to be somebody throwing water bottles at you or rocks or whatever. So anyway, that's my deal. I have a right to fly the flag, and I have one on my front porch right now. So
Gotcha.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, Missy, what does the flag kind of mean to you when you see it, or do you? I would even say, like, I wear, because you have to wear a mask everywhere. I have these face shields that I just pull up, and one of them is a flag, and I think about it because I'm like, it didn't used to be a thing, and I feel comfortable in Clovis, Fresno. Like, it's kind of been calm, the whole riots and stuff. We haven't seen a lot of craziness here, so I still feel safe. But I do think about it now. Like, I feel a little awkward putting it up. And a part of me kind of likes to do it because I'm a little bit of a rebel. So, I kind of like that aspect of it too. But what's that situation with you look like, Missy?
I have no issue with the flag. I've always been very patriotic. I don't see any. I don't even think I know anybody who has any problem with the flag as of right now. So
Yeah.
but I have no problem with it. I do see a lot of it happening right now. I think our country is kind of divided in a lot of different ways. But I have no problem with it. And when I do see somebody flying a flag, it does make me I'm like, yes, yes. I
Yeah.
love it, it makes me happy. But I don't even think I have one out in my front house. I should, but it makes me happy. I love it. I love the fact that it brings people together. I know that sounds so cheesy and cliche, but I really do love our American flag. I just think that right now it's just our country is just really divided and confused. And I'll be the first one to say, as am I,
Yeah.
on some issues. And I think that we're starting from scratch again. And maybe that's where people are gaining their sensitivity from, is when they're flying the flag. And it's just like Jim said, like, you have the people that want to burn the flag, you have the people that want to fly the flag. And it's hard because you want to respect everybody's opinion and everybody's rights, but at the same time, some of those things might be offensive to you. And that's where we as a people have to kind of determine, like, okay, well, let that be them, you do you, and let's just still live. Like, it's okay to have different opinions and different say-sos. um so that's how I feel about it.
I hear you. No, it's good. It it's it kind of ties into one of the next topics that I wanted to talk about. And I know, Missy, you're a big baseball fan, and you're starting to get into basketball a lot now. Jim, what is your relations to sports? Have you watched it over the years? Are you a big sports fan?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Sports are kind of like they're there. If they're on the TV, I'll watch them and I'll participate. But if I'm not a follower of sports, I don't know the names of all the quarterbacks on all of the teams and all of the pitchers, and the who's the receiving back, and I don't know who's playing left field or any of that kind of stuff. I never really got into the team sports.
Yeah.
I would guess you would call them, because I was in track and field. I was more individual. I ran my races, and that's what I did. I did see a really, really, really interesting post on Facebook this morning. It was about this Cowboys game that was just played. It said the Cowboys seem to be practicing social distancing on the field.
Yep.
They were not. They weren't playing that great. But my son is a Cowboys fan, and so he's. My wife sent that to him.
Yeah, I
No,
never.
I'm not really big on sports. No, not really.
I love sports, but I don't watch any sports. I might catch the Super Bowl. So Missy, let's ask you here this question here. It's all about you. Has the politics, has that affected your desire to watch? Does it irritate you? Does it not matter at all? How has that affected you at all?
Not really. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that, but to me it's all about the game. And
Yeah.
the less about politics it can be about, the better to me. That's my own opinion. When I go to a baseball game, and I have been to hundreds, when I go to a basketball game, I don't want to worry about those things. Again, if somebody does something that is that feels right to them, or if somebody takes a knee, then let them take a knee. Like, just let them take a knee.
Yeah.
If that's how they feel, then let them do it. But when it affects the games, and when it's so political, you can't enjoy watching a game. That's where I take issue, because I feel that we go there for entertainment. We go there because we want to feel, we want to have fun. And I mean, I can't tell you how many countless Dodger games I've been to, or Laker games that I've been to, and I've been high-fiving the people next to me, or like, like just going crazy with people that I don't know. And that's honestly the real part of, that's really the experience that I love. The same thing with, like, not with watching it in a bar, or watching it somewhere like in an airport. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I've watched a game and have become friends with a complete stranger just because we like the same team, or we're talking about players. So I say, if we could keep politics out of it, let's do it, and let's continue to do it. Um, I, I miss sports a lot right now. I really do. But yeah, I say the less we keep politics out of it, the more we can get back to normal, and enjoy sports. Really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, real quick. Like she said, if somebody wants to take a knee, okay, it's kind of like burning the flag. If you want to burn the flag, you can burn the flag, but I'm going to fly a flag. You want to take a knee, you take a knee, but I'm going to stand. See, so we both have a right. A Constitution guarantees us that right to be able to do those things. And so that's, keep the politics out of it. Let's just go there, do what we're going to do, and let's enjoy the game. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I definitely, like, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm kind of, I think I'm unoffendable, I guess you'd say. I really don't care. I understand. I think I understand where other people are coming from in a lot of these situations, and it really means something to them. They're not just trying to, cause a scene or whatever. Like, they feel passionately about something, and I always felt really uncomfortable. I feel like I'm very patriotic, but even myself, I have brothers that are in the military, special forces, and I mean, I'm very pro-America, but I've always, even myself, felt very uncomfortable, like, pledging allegiance to the flag, and saying that. I always get hung up on saying I pledge allegiance to the flag. I don't say it. Maybe it's just I don't understand what that means. Maybe I haven't had anybody explain it to me, but I myself don't. I stand up, I'll take off my hat, but I myself, like, feel uncomfortable saying I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I don't know why. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. But
you have to understand what the next line is. Because we the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. See, that's, you gotta put it into context. You're pledging allegiance to the flag and to the republic. See, you're pledging allegiance to America, basically, is what the idea is there.
Gotcha. And so it's even, I don't know. It's like I get hung up on the words. It's like I'm so for unifying. Like I know people say God bless America, and in my heart I'm like, yes, and this country and that country and all, God bless the whole world. But we can get off this subject, but it's like I think America has done amazing things. I love America. I'm glad that I was born here. Has our country been perfect? No. And I think that we need to continually to hear people's hurts, and maybe they blow it out of proportion because they're hurting. So of course, but it's important, like Jim said, to fly whatever we believe. Like, I'm sorry, brother, that you feel hurt by this, or last week we talked about kind of the rioting and the police brutality, and I kind of said, I don't see that it's cops killing like Black people. I don't see it that way, but it doesn't mean that there's a lot of people who feel like that is really happening. And if that was really happening, I'd get super upset about that. So I completely understand it. But I think those conversations are important, to talk to people, to hear their perspective. And we're going to have different people on here with different perspectives over time. And hopefully we can all hear these different perspectives. So anything else on that subject before we move on? You guys good there?
Good.
Last week we talked about, I was wanting to have Missy kind of chime in. I was kind of really curious about your perspective of like police brutality. I had asked the other people about if they had ever experienced like police brutality in their personal lives. When a cop's behind you, Missy, do you get nervous?
Yes. Yes. I am very nervous. I get very nervous. I have pulled off the road. If there's a cop behind me, I will pull off the road.
Yeah.
Or wait or I will avoid cops at all costs.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with them. Any encounter that I have had has not been like any like personal encounter that I've had with police have never been good.
Really? Okay.
I mean, like I think I remember last year when we first moved to Fresno, we had police barge into our loft that we moved into, and I was like, what is going on? Why are you in my house at 2:30 in the morning? So like to me, I was like, this is my right. Like you cannot barge into my house. So anytime like police, and anytime I've gotten pulled over or anything like that, it's a total wall or like an attitude. I'm like, don't talk to me. Just give me my ticket so I can be on my way. So, and I honestly don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's just, if it's a fear thing. I don't know if it's a lack of respect. I don't know really where the root cause is. But I know I got it. So it's a little difficult for me at times. I don't know. And it could be like an authority thing. Like you can't tell me what to do. So, I do have some issue there with that particular subject.
Yeah. How about you, Jim?
That's interesting because I always try to avoid cops if I have expired tags on my car, and that's usually my fault.
Yeah.
But see, I've had a kind of a different relationship with police officers. When I was back in the day, before I got clean, before I came to the Lord, I was usually doing something illegal, and that was my interaction with police officers, and usually just driving. I've never been arrested. I've never never had a DUI or any of that kind of stuff. But once I got clean and I got found the Lord and started working with organizations in the city of Selma. I had a girlfriend live there, and they had this thing called weed weed and seed, I think is what it was called, where they would weed out the bad and, you know, bring in the good. And I sat in meetings with the heads of departments from Selma Police Department, Magic, Highway Patrol, the police chief of Selma, and there was a couple of other people. I think they were just like lieutenants or major officers. And I sat there and I explained our position as you know, what we needed as a community. So I'm sitting in these places with these people. The Selma police chief, his son, him and I ended up being real good friends. So we, you know, but oh, and here's another thing. I've never been arrested. I don't know if I said that or not, but I've never been arrested. My experience has been actually pretty positive with police officers. Now, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm white. I don't know. I throw that out there not to bring race into the thing, but I mean, we had Black people sitting in those same meetings with us, and my girlfriend at the time was Mexican. So we were all, you know, we came together to sit down with these police officers to explain to them what the community needs. So my experience has been pretty much positive with in dealing with police officers. In fact, Jerry Dyer,
Awesome. Your audio cut out just for a second there at the very end. You said something about Jerry Dyer.
Oh, I've done a couple of events where I've been in rooms with him and, you know, chatted with him occasionally. You know, so it's like I said, it's always been a pretty positive relationship with police officers. Yeah.
Missy, your family is very diverse. You've got whites, Hispanics, Black. What is your kind of feeling? Like I said, my perspective is I don't think that not that there isn't any like racist cops. I'm sure there are, just like there are racist people out there. But
Right.
To me, it doesn't seem like the cops are going around saying, "Oh, that guy's Black, let's shoot him." You know, I tell me a little bit. What is your kind of perspective on racism? Did you feel racism growing up? Was anybody racist in front of you towards your dad, towards your mom? What was kind of your experience with that?
So as a child, I don't think that you realize what racism is.
Yeah.
I don't think I was I don't think I experienced that until I was older. So if it happened when I was a child, I didn't know. Like it just went over my head. So my dad is Black, my mom is Hispanic, and as far as I know that in some family, both on both sides, were not happy about, you know, my parents being together, and I didn't know that until like I was older.
Yeah.
But as far as racism goes, I've never experienced too much of that until I got older. And you know, it wasn't too long ago I was furniture shopping with my mom, my sister, and we were looking for a gift, and it was a furniture item, and a salesperson came up to us, and we're a pretty lively group, and he was trying to sell us this piece of furniture, and we were excited.
Yeah.
And we said, well, let's ask the guys, and the guys came through. So it was my dad, my brother-in-law, which my dad is Black, my brother's Mexican, my brother-in-law is white. So when we all came together, the look on this salesman's face was like, whoa. And this is exactly what he said. He said, whoa, 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 what are you guys?
Really?
And I was shocked, and I immediately rose to anger, like, whoa, what the hell does it mean? What do you mean? What does it matter? You know? I immediately rose to anger because I was shocked that somebody would say that out loud. because in my mindset, I feel like it's 2020. I feel like families don't have to look alike nowadays.
Yeah.
I would think that that is normal, but I guess that's not normal to others. So when he said that, I was really angry, and I kind of had like this attitude.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "It's okay, it's okay. It's we're fine. This is my husband, this is my son." And she was explaining it to him, and I was like, "You gotta explain nothing to him. He wants our money." And so I feel like I got an attitude really quickly, and it could have been innocent. It could have been the other way around. I don't know, because I got an attitude, and then we had to leave. But as far as racism goes, I have not experienced that. I have been, this past year, have been fearful for my family, like never before. Even though my dad is very involved in the community, I found myself very worried about him all the time. And I think that is a hard place to come from and to experience. I was at my parents' house, and my dad said, "I'm going to go fishing." And it was right in the middle of the riots and all of this police brutality. And in the moment, I got nervous. I was like, "By yourself? You're going by yourself?" As if he's not a grown man. Like,
Yeah.
he can't do it by himself. But immediately I got nervous, because I think the worst. Like, what if something happens? What if somebody's out there and they, don't like a Black person, or they don't like, my dad's very likable, but I get nervous for him sometimes. And when all of this happened, I was like, is it okay? Like, is it okay for us to go out? Is it not okay? Are people going to be upset because we're siding with one side and not the other? Or we automatically just don't want any part of like any kind of conflict? So I think that over this past year has just been a little bit fearful for me, and I've just had to remember how to overcome that. I'll take it even a step further and just be completely transparent and say that I have this year struggled myself and having certain feelings towards other races. So I remember calling my mom during a difficult time, and I've had a couple of breakdowns during the whole like COVID-19 and all of a sudden. I think I remember telling you that we went to dinner, and right before I walked into dinner, I had a breakdown, and I was crying, and I called my mom, and I told her, I think I'm racist. I don't think I like white people. Yeah. I don't think I like white people, Mom. I can't look at a white person the same. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I think I'm racist. And I don't. That's not my personality. I'm a very bubbly person. I tend to love people a lot. I like to be social. So for me to have that kind of anger or develop that kind of hatred in my heart was something very new to me. And so my mom comforted me, but it was my dad who actually gave me some peace about my feelings. And I have the text message what he said, but I was going through a really hard time because I didn't know how I was feeling about everything that was going on in my life and the world, and my heart was kind of broken, and I was here isolated by myself. And just to kind of paraphrase what my dad had said to me, he couldn't talk to me at the moment, but he text messaged me, and he was like, I talked to your mom, and I want to let you know, like, I want you to know, I want you to remember how we raised you. And we raised you not to see color. Like, that was never an issue or never a topic in our family. It was never an issue or topic. We never talked about color. We never saw color in our family, in our household. And the one thing he said to me was that we never taught you how to hate, Missy. That is not something that you learned from us. And I want you to remember that there is evil in every race, not just the white race, the black race, the brown race, the whatever race there is, there's going to be evil in every race. But what we have taught you to do is to love and forgive and to support and to respect people. He's like, so that love, that hate that you're feeling, that's not from us, and you have to push it aside and look past that. And I when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, crying, you know. But it's the truth, you know. I think so many times, especially in this, you know, this generation, they are so easily turned by what they see on social media. They see police brutality and they want to hate the cops. They want to hate the authorities. They want to hate the government. They want to hate Black people. They want to hate white people. But at the same time, like, I want to say that we need to widen our view a little bit, right? Or so we can't be tunnel vision. We need to widen our view. There is hatred in every race. No race is perfect. And I say all that because I struggle even now. I do believe that there are police brutality out there that I'm not going to be naive to that. And I'm not for that at all. I blatantly see it. You cannot tell me that a white policeman is going to treat a Black man the same as a white, you know, civilian. That's just not possible. I don't think so. And it's hard for me to see that. Especially in the South, back East. I may not have experienced it for myself, but I know that it's out there. And I'm not going to be naive to that fact. So I am all about the Black Lives Matter movement, but at the same time, I'm also about peaceful, like, protesting and showing my support in that way, because I am from both sides of the thread. I have my Mexican American side, and then I have my African American side. So, I mean, it's the door swings both ways, and you can't forget that.
Yeah, cool. No, thank you for sharing this. I appreciate that, because what I get from listening to you is that it's complicated. Especially everybody's different, so they've got all these different emotions and these thoughts. Like, you think nothing like I think, and that's okay. Like, you're coming from a completely different place. And if I'm gonna love you, if we're gonna be in a relationship as brothers and sisters in this whole thing, like, I want to know why or what's going on there. There's so much that I want to dive into it even more and find out and flush it out and listen. You know, we don't listen to each other anymore, you know?
Right.
So you
Right.
said something really interesting about that you don't feel, you know, about the police brutality stuff. And I'll wait to kind of share what I think. But Jim, what do you feel when it comes to that? Do you think it's a lot of police brutality? Do you feel like there is the racial stuff in there?
Well, there's always going to be some form of judgment that is being placed on somebody because of color, size, their disposition, and what have you. And oftentimes, police officers do walk in with the wrong attitude towards the person that they're approaching. Again, I'm white, so I've never really experienced that. Okay. And it's kind of difficult for me to, you know, hear somebody say, oh, just because I'm Black, I'm going to be treated badly. But it does exist. I know it does, because my wife and I, we've had personal experience. This one friend of ours, he's a kid. They had moved into Clovis, and he walked to the store and was walking back to his home in this neighborhood, and people came out and they started chasing him.
Wow.
Because they thought that he, being Black, was in the wrong neighborhood.
Wow.
But no, he was going home, and the police have even harassed him in Clovis, in his own neighborhood, simply because he's a Black man in that neighborhood.
How long ago was that, Jim?
Oh, I'd have to say maybe 3-4 years ago.
Recent, huh?
Pretty recent, yeah. You see, I myself have never personally experienced it, but I have seen it And I saw a post on Facebook where it says there was a crowd of good people and a little couple of bad people. There was a crowd of good cops and a couple of little bad cops. Then there was a crowd of bad politicians and a couple of good politicians. You know, it was a political statement, is what it was. But we have, you know, it's so unfortunate. You know, I've had difficulty because of my personal experience getting into the whole Black Lives Matters movement, the Antifa movement. The Antifa is, I don't feel as though Antifa needs to be in with Black Lives Matter. You know, the core concept of Black Lives Matters is it's like, you know, the shepherd and the sheep. He has 99 sheep, and the one sheep, he'll go find the one sheep and bring it back.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like, that's the one that's in trouble. It's like Black lives are the ones that's in trouble, so we need to focus on them, get them out of trouble. And I agree with that concept, but the violence and the brutality and the blowing things up and terrorizing neighborhoods, any organization that uses violence and intimidation, I can't stand behind them. I'm sorry, you know, it's just one of those things. I wasn't wired that way when I was in. And I'll tell you a little something that goes back. You know, in 1977. See, I was in high school in 1977. You got to remember, I'm old. I was probably in high school before you guys were both born.
Yeah.
But in 1977, 76, 77, and then into 78, I was involved in a program that was called desegregation, where it was forced busing. I lived in the Roosevelt High School district, and I was forced to bus into the Black district to Edison High School. I went over there. I learned a skill. I had no problem with anybody. I really enjoyed being there. You know, so I was a subject of forced busing, and I loved it. I had a good time. I never had any problems. There was never any race issues back then.
Yeah,
it's different today. You know, like I told you last time that we talked, that Pastor J.R. Coleman, he calls his church a big bag of Skittles, all colors, all flavors. And that's the way that my mindset is that we are. I mean, my drummer, I've had a black drummer, a Mexican bass player. You know, we've had all of these different races involved in walking with the body of Christ, and there's never been any color in any of that. And it's unfortunate. I saw a video this morning. Black Lives Matter was standing on the street shouting out the F word, F your Jesus. Crowd, mob, shouting this. And it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart to see this, because what is it that's fueling that? You know, the separation, the segregation, the split that's happening in the world. It's like demonic forces trying to bring this nation down, because Christ has a plan for this nation, or whatever. I don't know, but it really hurt my heart seeing that, you know. And so, like I said, my experience with it has been positive. I've never had any real issues with the segregation stuff.
Yeah.
With the police officers treating me differently. I don't know that I'm being treated differently, because my interaction has always been positive. So.
Yeah. It's really good hearing from both of you guys, because I think I get stuck in defending like the actual like I have not seen a video that from my perspective looks like the cops are brutalizing or being bad to people because of their race. I don't see it. I'm not going to say that it wasn't, but for me, it's like, unless the cop is like, I hate black people, and then shoots the guy or something like that it's not racist. And I get stuck on that, you know, hardcore defending truth that I forget that people are coming to the table with a lot of these hurts, like listening to Missy talk about the situation, it helps to listen to you talk about that young boy, his situation in his neighborhood, experiencing that. Those are real experiences that all kinds of people are having, and they bring that to when they watch a video of something happening. Sometimes all that plays into it, whether that exact moment was being racist or not. They all know that they've experienced these racist situations, and so I guess they probably view it that way where I don't. So it's that's why I love hearing from you guys. Love hearing that separate side of it. It's good for me. So I appreciate you guys sharing. Um, we could go on and on that. I wanna, we have a few more minutes, but we can come back to this at any time. I don't feel like it's gonna go away. But I wanted to talk about the fires that are going on right now. We have was it Shaver Lake that is on fire? I forget what they call the fire right now. Was it Creek Fire? And there's fires all over the place in California. And immediately I saw the whole battle that we see all the time with these pray for the fire, pray for this. And then you have kind of the other side of people saying, well, thanks for your thoughts and prayers, but they don't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. What's kind of your, Missy, talk to me about what that situation, how do you view like these catastrophes, these wildfires, hurricanes, and have you ever been to Shaver Lake?
I don't think I've been to Shaver Lake, but I will have to say, like, I was just talking to Jason about this right before, and I had to agree. I think thoughts and prayers, yes, great. Send your thoughts and prayers. Is it gonna help me? Probably not. If I'm in Shaver Lake, or I've just lost my home, or thoughts and prayers are probably not something that is probably the worst thing that you can probably say to somebody who's just lost their home. Like, let's get real. Come on. I would probably slap somebody if they told me that. I think that we have to be a little bit more sensitive to them, and especially as the church, if we're praying for them, yes, pray for them. The Bible says, prayer without actions is dead. If you're gonna pray with them, if you're gonna pray for them, then you better follow it up with some donations. Like, let's be real. And that's one thing I cannot stand about some religions or some churches, that we're gonna pray, we're gonna stand, we're gonna pray, we're gonna pray, we're gonna pray. Okay, I love the prayer. Pray, thank you. But I need some action to go with that. I need some donation. What are we doing? Are we volunteering? Are we sending water? Are we sending blankets? What are we doing? Where do we as the church come in and follow up with our actions? Because prayers and thoughts are only going to get you so far, and a slap in the face. For me. I mean, I just was driving down Palm just the other day, and I saw that there was a tent that said that it was a donation drop off for people that were being evacuated, and I was like, oh my gosh. For me, I and this is by no means, I'm not bragging or anything, but for me, like, I will give all my money. Do you guys remember when Australia was on fire? And Jason and I were driving down to Sacramento, and there was this big billboard, and it was saying, donate now to all the animals that are being are dying. And I immediately was like grabbing my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta send money. And Jason was like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Because I will empty out my bank account. So I think that there's a good balance there for me. But I know that was extreme. But I think that as far as the church goes, I think there has to be actions to follow up with that prayer. And if you're going to donate and give actions, then it needs to be unconditional.
Yeah.
It can't be with, I'm going to give you this, and then I want to see you in church on Sunday. No. Needs to be unconditional.
Yeah. Nice.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, like right now, I have in the back of my van 2 bags of clothes, and I have sitting right here uh, some blankets that we're cleaning out our house. We got blankets, I have dishes, and I've got all kinds of stuff right here, right now that I'm planning on taking to and donating directly to the people that are up in the hills up here. Uh, guys, I'm going to say this, guys. You've got stuff in your closet right now that's been in there for probably 3 to 5 years, hanging there, and you're not using it. Get a box, pull out the stuff you haven't worn in 5 years, and throw it in the box and give it to the Red Cross or to some organization that can get the clothes there. And guys are really bad about cleaning out their closet. I know I am. I still got stuff in there from probably 6-8 years ago, and that's what we're going through right now, is cleaning this stuff out and getting household items, clothes, blankets, things those natures. They are going to be needing all of that. So just clean out your closet, guys. Find a good, reputable organization that can get the clothes and merchandise up to that.
Yeah. I completely, I love what you said, Missy. I love the scripture that you used as well. And Jim, those are great things to do. And I was actually impressed for the first time in my life. No, I was impressed with the church. Like I follow a few churches now online, and they had every one of them, like the Well, First Baptist Church of Clovis, they all had all these things that they were doing. They were doing donations. They were doing clothing, like Jim was talking about. They did. They were doing water for a little bit, and all these different things. But it was actions. It really was actions. And also it sprinkled in was the pray for Shaver Lake, pray for all that stuff. But I thought it was a good balance, and like Missy was saying, it was, and you know what, the church has been doing awesome stuff forever, and I don't think they get the credit for it. I know even the Catholic Church for thousands of years has done stuff too. They've done horrible things too, but they've always been doing missions and stuff like that. It is a lot of. I was very happy, to say the least. Jim, I have never been to Shaver Lake. Have you been there?
Oh yeah, I've been to Shaver Lake countless times. There's a place up there called The Point. My band played there. I have a friend that has a cabin at Shaver. I have another friend that has a cabin at Bass Lake, and all of these cabins and these places are being threatened right now. They can't do anything. They don't know. They can't go there to find out. They don't even know if their stuff is still there.
Yeah.
And I would like to touch one more thing on the prayer. Pray for these people. Pray for them. What my prayer is pray for the church and the members of the church to open their hearts, open their wallets, and be understanding and be donating. That's my prayer. When I talk about, let's pray for Shaver Lake, well, let's pray that people will step up, donate, go up. There's going to be a ton of construction happening up there, and a lot of it, people aren't going to be able to afford it. Yeah. They're going to need money to be able to rebuild. They're going to need, it's sad for me because I know the areas that I used to go up to Shaver Lake, they're not there anymore. Whiskey Creek, Whiskey Falls, it's a little campground up in there. That's all been burnt. It's all gone now. So, yeah, I've been to Shaver Lake, Bass Lake, North Fork, all of those areas up there.
Yeah, I think as a kid I went to Bass Lake just kind of either on the way or on the way back to like a church camp I used to go to at Sugar Pine.
Yeah, Camp Sugar Pine. Yeah.
Yeah. But since living here, I've never gotten up there, so I feel bad that I never got to experience it. But yeah, that's a good point, Jim, about the praying for the church to act.
To open up their wallets.
Yeah. Love it. To get you guys out of here, a quick topic, fun topic, maybe real quick, maybe not so fun. But we talked about it last week a little bit. But did you guys see the kind of situation with Nancy Pelosi going. The reason I ask is Missy, Jim, is a stylist, and she hasn't been able to work for months and months. So I kind of wanted to get her. What was your initial thoughts on that situation, if you saw it at all?
Oh my gosh, I think you're you're setting me up here.
No.
You're gonna set me on fire. I was outraged, honestly, as any stylist probably is, or any salon owner. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody's setting her up. I can tell you right now. This is, I mean, and here's the thing, you got caught. So just be honest, say you got caught and say you just wanted to get your beauty on just like every other woman in America right now, because we all been dying to get our hair done and getting our roots done. Like, let's just say, just don't be embarrassed to say that beauty does matter, even during a pandemic. So just open up the salons and let's get back to normal. Like, we can do it safely. We can do, and that's just like, and then you walking in there with no mask, like, don't get me started. I just, it was very frustrating and very irritating, to be honest with you. Not only have stylists and salons have been struggling, like, and I'm not just, and I don't use that word lightly, and I'm talking struggling to the fact where we have to close down our salons, our businesses. I had no stylists that have had no income since March and are legitimately struggling and having to close down and so to do that in our industry, unacceptable. As a politician, as in the position that she holds, honestly, just very, I'm at a loss for words right there, or they're the words I cannot use.
No, it's good because I know you're in the industry. I know that that was close to your heart. Jim, you have any responses to that?
Well, there's words I can't really use here. But no, I think the hypocrisy that exists in our government and in the situation that's happening right now, it's just, I don't want to use the same words they use, but it's disgusting. You know, it's not just the salons either. There's gyms, the workout gyms. They're having to be closed, but they're keeping the gym open so the politicians can use their gym. Yeah. Why can't they use the exact same safety procedures in a public gym?
Yeah.
Sanitize them when you walk in, wipe everything down every time you change. There's ways to do it. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. Missy, I feel so bad for you that you haven't been able to work. I have a few friends who work in the in beauty, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Then to see what Pelosi did, the hypocrisy that exists in that statement, it's beyond words. I do construction and I also do automotive repair, and there's been a lot of work that I cannot do because people don't want me in their home.
Oh, okay? Yeah.
So I can do some things, so I'm able to make money. But Missy, I feel sorry for you because you can't be without an income since March, and then of course the unemployment. Here's another point here is that the unemployment ran out. That $600 a week ran out.
Right.
And now you're reduced down to what? To nothing. And now they're holding up the stimulus bill in Congress right now because Nancy Pelosi wants this great big gigantic stimulus bill. The Republicans say, okay, we'll work on these problems, but first let's get money in the pockets of the American people so they can start spending and have some real life. But they want to put these city, county, and state programs in there. Let's not worry about it. Let's get money in the pockets of the people that need it. Missy, I know you need it right now, and I know a lot of beauty salons that could use that money right now, not 2 months from now when they finally figure out what to do with all of the other stuff.
Exactly. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Working's in the middle of it too, and that's the thing that just drives me crazy. I hope she. Yeah, I'll say it. I hope she gets voted out. I really do. I
Yeah,
really
she
do.
she got set up. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Um,
crock.
So
That was a good decision to do that. She walked in there intentionally without it.
there was a way better way out of this that she could have used. She could have
Oh, yeah.
just said that she got her dates wrong because the next day they opened up or something like that. It was very close.
Yeah,
So
it
that's what I would
was
have.
ridiculous.
Do you know how many times I've had to walk back to my van to get my mask?
Oh man, I know.
Out of respect for the business that I'm walking into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, we'll have to talk about masks next time. I've got a lot of opinions on that if you want to hear them. But you guys, I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to the next time having you guys on. I love hearing from you guys. I feel like we got different perspectives. Last week, those guys, they just all agreed with each other. It was boring. So, but God bless you guys. God bless everybody
Thank
out
you.
there. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for
Thank you.
watching.
Nice meeting you.
And we'll see you all next time. Adios.